Hello viewers, this is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary Series. And sorry if my voice sounds weird, but I'm currently sick, but I'm trying to power through it to get you guys the content that I promise. So it looks like we've got Gruul Aggro versus a Boros Aggro human deck. Ooh, Declaration in Stone on the Electrostatic Pummeler. Keeps the way clear for his Hanwir Garrison, which, you know, you don't see this card very often anymore. And honestly, if you're running red, there's no reason to not include it in your deck unless there's no room. But Metallic Mimic, he is a powerhouse in Standard right now. Pretty much any deck that you run, theoretically, you could run the Mimic in because, you know, he's just a walking creature type. You know, even if only a couple of your creatures are, you know, the same creature type, you know, why not? Now, everybody has seen the Metallic Mimic animation module combo of servos, and more servos, but, you know, Metallic Mimic is much better than just a servo-making machine. I mean, just look at him right here with the human deck. I mean, Hanwir Garrison with Metallic Mimic is a ridiculously good combo, because not only does the Garrison get a +1/+1 counter, he's making every single human token that much bigger. And then a second Metallic Mimic makes things even more nuts, and the game's already over. So let's go to game 2. This probably, you know, doesn't happen that often. I mean, you know, it's 60 cards. How often are you going to get 2 out of 4 copies of those cards that fast? You know, it's not going to happen very often. And it doesn't look like the Gruul Aggro player got a very good start. I mean, no first turn play, no second turn. Well, Attune with Aether was a single play. And then Electrostatic Pummelers. You know, 2 Pummelers and Attune with Aether, that's not a very good start for a Gruul Aggro deck. Especially facing down something as brutal as a, you know, a human-making machine. So, let's go to game 2. So, I just did a quick check, and Gruul Aggro is currently sitting on a little bit more than 5% of the field. So, you know, about 1 in 20 opponents is running this deck. And mainly that's because of how efficient it is versus how much it costs. You know, the Gruul Aggro deck is very cheap, but it is very effective. Now, this other side, Boros Aggro so far, you know, he might be running black, so it might be a Mardu deck, but Boros Aggro is sitting at less than 1% of the field. Boros has taken a major nosedive in popularity. But, who knows, you know, Metallic Mimic might bring a deck like this back from obscurity. Sorry. But Voltaic Brawler, now that is a good start for Gruul Aggro. Pays the energy to give him 4/3 trample, gets in for 4 because he's not going to give up this Metallic Mimic unless he absolutely has to. Onward Battlements, so theoretically we could see a transformation, but I highly doubt it. Because then it would become an Eldrazi and make Eldrazi tokens instead of humans. And 2 Metallic Mimics. So he's going in with the first one since Gruul is wide open, so 2 damage gets through. Attune with Aether, 2 more energy, lets him get another land. Another Voltaic Brawler? I mean, that would be a pretty good play here. But he's going in. He spends the energy to make it a 4/3. And you have to think about it, at least, right here, that it is a 3/2, so a trade would most likely kill, but at the same time, it's Gruul Aggro, and he has 2 mana open. So, he could, and most likely has a buff spell that would just, you know, be making you throw away your Metallic Mimic. So right there, it was a better play to just take the 4 damage than to try and block and kill. Even though, if you had managed it, your opponent's board would be wiped out. But he attacks in for 5 there with his Mimics after playing an Odric Lunarch Marshal, who's now a 5/5. Unfortunately, none of his creatures have keyword abilities, so, he's just a 5/5, but that's not a bad thing. Being a 5/5 is not a bad thing in the current situation. And unfortunately for Gruul, Electrostatic Pummeler is a very powerful card given the right situation, but right now, if I was him, I would have much preferred to draw, maybe a Shock or Harness Lightning, because the other side of the board is looking a little bit scary. Ooh, Angel of Invention. Well, since he's not running, he didn't choose Servo, honestly, I would just put the 2 counters on Angel of Invention so that you have a 4/3 flyer. And, most likely Gruul isn't playing anything that has flying or reach, so she's almost guaranteed to get through for free. And then on top of that, because she has flying, vigilance, and lifelink, all of his creatures gain all of those keyword abilities, and basically he wins the game here, right? 6, 10, yeah. That's 13 damage flying. I have to say, that is a brutal little combo here. I like it. I don't know if, the Metallic Mimic has enough muscle by itself to bring back an entire deck from obscurity, but, it's worth looking into, because, humans are cheap. There's a lot of them that are worth playing. I've been a big proponent of Hanwir Garrison for a long time, but seeing it in a combination like this, Hanwir Garrison, in my opinion, is a great card. Combined with Metallic Mimic makes it absolutely nuts. Hanwir Garrison is, auto kill already, but when you're playing against Hanwir Garrison and Metallic Mimic, it's an emergency, oh, holy crap, I need to kill this card. It doesn't matter what it takes, I have to kill this card. But, sorry for rambling there and, getting a little crazy. I'm on meds right now, so forgive me. Gruul Aggro, it has a place in Standard right now for good reason. Like I said, it's a very cheap deck to construct, and it is very effective. But at the same time, there are better decks in Standard right now. Gruul isn't going to go anywhere right now, but, the next set, or maybe the set after that, depending on what gets printed, Gruul is probably going to disappear. But, I like this guy's deck idea, going for an old creature type that nobody really does anymore, in a color combination that nobody really does anymore, and, you see the results. I mean, like I said, Gruul isn't, top dog in Standard right now, but a showing like this, is very impressive. But, I've rambled on for far, far too long. Sorry about that. That was Gruul Aggro versus Boros Humans. And if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I will see you in the next video.